Good afternoon or good morning or whenever you're watching this. Trying something different. I have my picture in the bottom corner there. I think that's the left. I'll wave to you. Now I can look at the I can look straight ahead and because I'm talking to you as an audience there. So what I did, I sent you out the PDF file with all the information I'm going to go through as quickly as I can because it's a review. The first thing I want to point out to you is looking at the website right now, which is my start page. You recall that was one of the things we did. Here it says start page, pretty clever name, isn't it? The way I get that, unlike a home page, which I can also use, I know Penny, you had something different. You had the Google as your home page. I like using the start page because I have all my favorites right in front of me, which are the same as the favorites you see right here. Kind of redundant, but I like it that way. They're easy to see as we get older. In some cases, I have redundant icons right here, so I can simply do a right click on one of those and just remove that duplicate. So how did we get this start page? Also, Wikipedia looks like. I have fun with Wikipedia. Okay, we're done. The way you get this start page to appear is you go to Safari. We did this. We went to settings, and on the tabs, like I said, on the tabs, that's not where we wanted to be, right here. New Windows Open Start Page. That's a special name given to you by Apple. And I want everything to start with the start page, although I could click on my home page button and go right to Wikipedia. I forgot I had that actually. So that's what we did. Start page is a reserved word. You can put any web address. It's called a URL, Universal Resource Locator, more than you need to know. But you can put a web page in there. You'd copy, Control C, you'd come here, Control V, and that would be your home page. Let's take a look at that, how that works. I'm going to close this. This is my start page. When I make a new tab, there's my start page. If I click on my icon for home, there's Wikipedia. Mission accomplished. That was one of the first things we did. It wasn't really documented in my handout, and that's what I'm looking at right now, my Apple Pages document, that what we did in class. Another thing we did, and it did not work for you, Nina, I know I sent you a follow-up, is when we went to YouTube, when we watch a video, I'm going to make sure the video sound is muted. I think it is. Yeah, it is. When you go to YouTube to watch a channel, you might have the option, hopefully, where you click on that little icon there and you tap, and it says, not what I'm looking for. We know what distracting items are. We hide them all the time. We're used to that. But it seems every once in a while we hit a website that doesn't have that option. Let's see if I play one of these videos from Gary in YouTube. It's got to be played in YouTube. This is Gary's website. Let's see. I'll just click on one of these. We've done this before. We know how to do that. So let's see if I play Gary's video. No, interesting. Go it in Reader. Let's play the video. Maybe that'll be the difference. Now, Gary's talking to me. Let's see. There you go. That's what I wanted to see. So Gary is talking. Of course, he's muted. And now I can put him in the viewer. And I'll do that. And you'll see it kind of hides all those side panels. We have a nice black background. And it's a great way to avoid distractions. I'm going to stop Gary from talking. Um, Notice, Harold, I don't have that gear icon to slow Gary down. Okay, be careful there. I'm going to go back up to the top. I'm going to exit the video viewer. And now notice, Harold, there's the gear. That slows Gary down. We talked about that several times now. I do hope you're using it. All right. So that was the one thing, the picture-in-picture video viewer. The next thing I sent you was the Reader. I think a great website for that. I shared an example of going to Wikipedia. I found a story. I think I did a search on Apple to follow the exact example I did. I typed in Apple. I went to the corporation, and it went right to Reader. How did it go right to the Reader view? It's programmed that way in the Safari browser. This is why I strongly recommend you use Safari to get your money's worth. How did that happen? Well, I'm going to exit this right now. I'm going to go hide the view. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I tried to show you how to use ChatGPT with an article in Wikipedia. So I'm recording just this one section, and I'll figure out how to put it into the original video. So wish me luck. So in our last episode, I went to Notes, and I had this already typed out. And using Notes, I saved it, and I just copy and paste, Control C. So it's going to take a look at the screen and summarize an article. So I'm going back to Safari. This is where we were. I'm going to go up to Safari because it can't do anything. Safari's kind of weak. So I'm going to paste in that phrase. Like I said, paste in that phrase. There you go. So I want Safari to send this information on my screen over to ChatGPT and see what comes back in this little bubble in just a moment. Here we go. Let's see what happens this time. There you go, working, beautiful. And now we'll send it, and it's working. And for some reason, it made the window a little smaller, and we'll fix that as quickly as we can. It's working. There it is. So for some reason, it shrunk my window. I'm not going to change the size of the window now because that might get rid of the output. So there it is. It was able to summarize the whole page, kind of, or just a screenshot, depending on what I sent it. I believe it was just a screenshot. But there's an example of using AI to look at an article and read it and summarize it. Mind-boggling. That's all I wanted to capture on this re-recording of this part of the video. Thanks for your patience. Always challenging sometimes. YouTube video. Here we go. If it has chapter markers, and it will on YouTube, you will not see chapter markers if you bookmarked MacMost. You've got to go to YouTube to see chapter markers. So we'll go watch Gary's video. And how do you know it has chapter markers? Well, first you might want to do some Tai Chi. So let's have a 15-second break. All right, your exercises are done, and we'll skip that. Here's Gary talking. Now remember, I pointed this out in class. You click on More, you scroll down, and there are the timestamps. Think of these as chapters. There's the name of the chapter and the timestamp. So what can we do? Well, if I tap on page 6, it tells me hold down the Option key and then hit the left or right arrow. Well, watch where this goes with the timestamp right here. Holding down Option and then the right arrow. It's jumping ahead. Look at the timestamp, the little red dot. There it goes. So I'm skipping all the stuff I don't want to see. And Option right, left arrow, it goes backwards. That's one way. Another way to move through a video when you're playing it, if remember on page 6 it is, you have the L to go forward 10 seconds, the J to go backwards 10 seconds, and the letter L to pause. Those are 3 letters on the keyboard right next to each other. Look at them. JKL. All right, you got that one done. And of course, it says also on that page, just press the letter K or the space bar, and you can see it's paused. And now I can play. All right. This was a good one, also on that same page. When you're in your Safari browser, and I have a lot of tabs open sometimes, I'll stop Gary from talking. I have a lot of tabs open. Start page, Wikipedia, and of course, Gary. This is one of the best icons I found by accident. These 2 little pieces of paper, we saw it, you tap on it, there are all these windows open. Now, you saw this one, you saw this one, you saw this one. Jay, what are these? These are items that are pinned. These are items that are pinned. You can't see it now because I'm having this view take over the screen. And there they are. These are pinned. Show me. There they are. Quite a few of them. Quite a few of them. My Sony. Maybe one day I'll get my Sony camera out and watch that video on how to use it. And it's about an hour and how long? Quite a bit. Quite a bit long. Over an hour. All right. Tap the squares. See which window you want to go to. Now, these are all pinned. That's why you don't see any content. It's waiting for me to go there, but right now these are pinned. So I'll go back to my start page. Next page, next topic. This was a good one. Paste text without formatting. Using my table of context, I'm on page 7. Page 7. When you go to a particular document, like Pages, this is how you got this document. I made a lot of screenshots and bubbles and whatever. I don't really care to talk about it. It's a whole nother program. Ella, I know you want to learn how to use Pages. If you've used word processing before, this is relatively simple compared to Microsoft Word. Trust me on that. Word has stuff buried. There's a little bit of learning curve, of course, whenever you go from a standard transmission to an automatic transmission in a car. The principles are the same, just a different configuration. So here's an example. I'm going to select this sentence and I'm going to copy it. Command C. And I want to put it here. So if I do Command V, I just change everything. I'm going to undo. I'm going to go to a clean page down here. Command V. Looks like I picked up the graphic by accident. My apologies. Try that again. Select this, and we'll do Command C. Go to an empty area down here and Command V. That's what I wanted. Command V takes exactly what you captured, but maybe I don't want that to be bolded. That's what you see on that page. Paste text without using the formatting. No bold. Go up to Edit, Paste and match the style. The style is the name of the way the text looks. When you look at the word formatting, you're looking at something right here called the body. The body. If you look at another part of the document here in word processing of pages, when I click on a heading, it's called small caps. If you look at something in red, I'm not sure where something it is right there, it has a name, body, command key. So this is word processing 101. It's not for everybody. If you're doing documentation like you might be doing, and I know, Ella, you mentioned this, you would want to take Pages with Me. It'll be a separate course. It's not for everybody. It'll be a couple weeks in a row. It's not a 2-hour gig. Trust me. Okay? The key point to walk away with is we selected something. We'll do it again. And you can do edit, copy, go down to where you want to paste it. Come on down here, make some room, and just go edit, paste, and match style. You do not have to remember all these shortcut keys. They're overwhelming. Use the menus. And there you go. Next on our hit parade here. Let's go here. Actually, if you look at Reader View, which was on page 5, I guess it is, Reader View, I do share with you how to have a page load automatically. It's on page 5. It's got that big red bubble on it. And specifically, I'm talking about this right here. That's right here. So I'm looking at the Pages document as well as you. So a page will load automatically if it's told to. And how do you do it? Down here. I didn't want to share it, but it's in the document. You go up to your browser. You got to go to your browser. So I've got to this is Pages. I've got to go into Safari. Click on down here. I'll go to Safari. I'll go to Settings. I go to Websites. And here's the answer. Automatically use the reader on websites below. So as you can see right here, like I said, right here, Wikipedia automatically will go into reader mode if it's enabled. And we've seen a couple times now, Wikipedia is enabled to go into reader mode automatically. All right, that's it. It has to be enabled to do that. That was that topic right there. What was next? We did that, took a little picture of what you're looking at. We talked about that. This was a goodie. We just did that one. This was so easy. Moving icons on the menu bar. Here they are. Hold down that command key. Let's put the weather, holding down command, move it over. There it goes. One of the easiest things you could do. Another good one here for YouTube. Adjust the volume in smaller increments. Shift, Option, the volume. The volume is on the far top right of your keyboard. The far top right. Of course, if I try to do it right now, Shift, Option, let's see, what will it do? There it goes. A little bit at a time. If I don't hold down those two function keys or optional keys, it goes big jumps. Big jumps lower, big jumps higher, holding down Shift, Option, little jumps smaller, little jumps larger. No big deal. Nice to know, though. What's next? We did that. We weren't successful. This is what I pasted in there. I saved it in my notes program, and it does work. For some reason, it wasn't working here, even with the word Apple, the website Apple. And here's an example of when it did work. So I went to the apple.com website, or I should say Wikipedia. I did a search on Apple, and then it gave me a summary. So it did work this morning. Why it's not working now, I don't know. And as you can see, my battery is low. All right, scrolling down, what's next? Tiling windows. In this article or this website, I saw you were able to do something with the command key and put a window in a particular area. I even called Apple this morning, and they are not correct. The video was wrong. Why he was able to do it, I don't know, but we won't worry about that. You know about the green button. You know, if you hover, you have options to put a window somewhere. You know that. You know, if you click on it, it makes it full screen. You knew that already. If you press the escape key on the keyboard or just go back and look for that little green button, it goes back to the way it was. And what I shared with you last week in the workshop was pretty cool. And I'm going to hide all these other windows. Pages, hide others. There you go. This was fun stuff I was working on here. This is the Apple News. It's an amazing $13 a month, folks. I strongly recommend if you like to read and you want to see a variety of magazines or what have you, Apple News Plus is a bargain at $13 a month. It ain't cheap. It's not expensive. It's worth it. Let me quit it. And let me just go back to Pages. Here we are. And we'll leave that one there. Going back to Windows, if you resize the window, I'll just close this here. Here we are. For some reason, this isn't cooperating, and that's okay. We'll go back to Pages. One of the neat things I discovered by accident, if you double tap on the edge of a window, double tap, it fills up going that direction. If you double tap this way, it fills up going that direction. If I make this window smaller here and double tap at the top, it fills up in that direction. That's kind of cool. It's really not documented here. You should know all these already. This is something we didn't really talk about, but another way to tile windows is to simply go up to Window, Move and Resize, and this is another way you can tile windows. Try them. It's not rocket science. It's right in front of you. Notice not everything has a shortcut key, which is kind of good because there's hundreds of these shortcut keys. It just ain't worth it, folks. There are ways around this, but right now we're just focusing on how to tile windows. This is another way to do it. And this was one of the last things we did, Finder QuickLook. If you go to Finder, and I'll move myself over there, go to Finder. When you click on a document, you can, of course, double click on it. It will open up Word. Or maybe I want to work only on Pages documents. We can learn about this some other time, what these are. I can just point to it. And if I press Enter, which is a reflex, that allows you to change a name. That's a reflex action. Pressing Enter, you think something's going to happen. Well, it did. It's waiting for you to rename it. Press the Escape key. If you press the space bar, watch what happens. Why did that appear? I don't know. Press the space bar. Oops, undo. There we go. Pressing the space bar opens up like a preview of what the document is. And if I go down to another document, it changes. So it's a great way to preview what you might want to open. This is the one we're working in right now. And that's it. It's the space bar. If you're done with it, just press the space bar again. No harm, no foul. Going back to Pages. That was pretty easy, and that's what this little illustration shows. You have the Finder window behind you, and by pressing the space bar, you get to see a preview. Press the space bar again, it closes. Open documents in tabs. This is pretty cool. This would be good for word processing, mainly Pages. I use it all the time. I also use it in the spreadsheet called Numbers. Here it is in Pages. Notice right now, the name of the document is 40 Tips and Tricks. Now, obviously, I don't have 40. That's what he called it, he being the gentleman who wrote this video, who created the video. When I create a document, here's a tab. We've seen tabs before, and I can open up another document. I was playing around earlier. These are called templates. So maybe I want to make a newsletter. Ella, you want to do something for your church. Well, you click on it, create it. It opens it up in a new tab. If I go to File, I go to Recent. Maybe I want to open up an article or a story I wrote back in 1975 when I drove cross country. I tap on it. It opens up in a new tab. It's easy to see what documents you have open when you're working in tab mode. Okay. The document that I sent you tells you how to do it. Okay. I got a little picture here at the bottom. That's where you go to do it. And here's an example of what I've got going right now in my Pages document, my Pages program, excuse me. It's a great way to work. You're looking at multiple documents. I won't say at the same time, but just a click away. Because if you click on Window, you can see you have 3 documents open. And let's say you wanted to work in a document without having it in a tab, like this newsletter I'd be making. I do a right click, 2-finger click, move to a new window. It'll get out of the world of tabs. And there you go. So now this one window is right here. So you got one window here, and where'd the other one go? Well, you simply have to go here and go get it. Or what you could do is go Window, bring Alt to, which is it? Merge all windows. That's the one. When you say merge all windows, it makes this window that's all by itself, it makes it a tab. There they are. They're all together now. Sounds like a song all together. That's a Beatles song, wasn't it? Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've completed the Pages portion of everything I wanted to share with you. That's it. That was a lot. And me talking for the past few minutes was a lot as well. There's a lot to know. You got to make a project, as I did. This Pages document, I learned so much about Pages. And you need to maybe do the same thing. Find something you can work on, learn by watching those YouTube videos from Gary, and we'll see you hopefully on Friday. Have a great rainy day. Until then, I am now stopping the recording.